When I'm saying marry offline and online data, I mean marry it in real time. So in real time, I know that I've launched a campaign on my homepage. At the same time, an advertisement has gone out on television. At the same time, there's stuff happening on my point of sale. At the same time, there's stuff happening in CRM. Can I build in technology that can do real-time analysis? And that's what I really mean about marrying offline and online data. And customers that do know what's working. So how do you know that a TVC has actually worked? I mean, Airtel's a great example. You saw the recent emergence of their brand around, the Har Ek Friend Zaruri Hota Hai. I think what they did and how they're measuring some things is truly remarkable in terms of, our limited engagement to them, but we're learning a lot in terms of how they look at that space. The other side is analytics and reporting. So to me, now analytics and reporting make sense. If you can run them across the spectrum of personalized engagement, across multiples of channels, marrying online and offline data, and measuring it, everything in real time. Till now, what we do, most of us are using a free publishing solution, and we believe it's free, so it's superior. It's not. They have all your data, right? And we're doing it really to measure MIS or site traffic. That's all that we're doing with that. And ultimately, at the bottom of the layer is data and content. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but is there a way to unify your data and content onto a single repository across disparate systems and then have a common engine measuring it all? That, according to us, are some of the three fundamental pillars. So I've talked about this in terms of some other examples of personalized engagement. I've seen certain brands try this, and and they are seeing an experience, and I probably have a snapshot of it later on. So if they know I'm a returning customer and I bought jewelry, let's say online, right? Can they serve me more targeted advertising or customize a homepage for me that just shows jewelry? So they know who I am, they've recorded the cookie, they know I'm coming back from there, I've authenticated more than anything else. And once I authenticate, can I get served content which they know I like? So if I like jewelry or white shirts or gray shirts or whatever. So I know that there are some companies today that are trying this out, and the conversion is far higher because you're going deeper and deeper in building a user engagement with that customer. The other side of it, and this is just a little regular slide, to do it across multiple channels. So is there a way to provide that experience across multiple platforms? So I may go and interact with your brand through a mobile site, through a website, through a regular website, through a point of sale kiosk at an airport. Can I create that same experience? Now that's a real wow. And I think, the previous discussion, I was pretty intrigued with it on cash on delivery, especially Ishita's comments, because my wife is a big cash on delivery proponent. And, I would never transact in that channel for the life of me. I think I probably don't have more than 300 rupees in my wallet right now because I'm not a cash person. But, she loves it. So for her, that engagement is highly personalized. And I think that's an example of a personalized engagement working for her. But that's in the offline world. But can you start creating those experiences across multiple channels, physical or digital? On, again, we've talked about the how you spend across these channels. But what I've noticed is, let me give you an example, and this is a pretty interesting example. Most search and most advertising digitally is very nascent in India. So keywords are not expensive. Keywords in the US go up as high as $50, $100 in some cases. That's 5,000 rupees. Here it's typically 5, 10, 15, 20, 50 rupees that you're dealing with. So maybe the impact is not felt today, but it will happen tomorrow because more and more advertising is going digital. So we were speaking to a large brand recently who always wanted to be number one on the search criteria and was spending, this was a bank by the way, and they have deep pockets. So we were talking to them on what their search strategy is, and we found they were spending so much money on search. Lenovo did the same thing, by the way. They were spending so much money on search just to maintain the top position. And they found that the click-through on that was about X percentage, and the final resulting in a sale on site was about 20%. And we did a little experiment with them. I said, okay, it's, let's say $55 for this keyword. Let's go third go one third, let's say we are the third rank on the page. We're not the first rank, you come in third. And you spend maybe $13. You'll be surprised the click-throughs didn't really vary. It didn't vary too much in the top three. Now, I could have taken all that extra money that I spent just to maintain that number one position there and put it into another channel. And that's what I mean about optimizing your spend, even on the same search spend. So it's actually saving you money at the end of the day. So there's a lot of work that one can do around optimizing this space. The third is about online and offline engagement, and we keep hearing this from customers in India, especially around social. They all want, so social is hot, social is sexy, social is fun, right? That's how we probably engage. I get to know a lot of the news because of my Facebook page, whether India won the match, we lost the match, people are happy, they're sad. A lot of it is social. And there are more than 500 companies that I know, including startups, that measure social voice. So they'll tell you, is it positive, negative, is it neutral? There are very few companies that I know that correlate social voice with impact on business. And to me, that's just one example of correlation. There is a lot of correlation that you can get through offline data. So for instance, we were talking to a travel portal in India, and they have an offline team as well, which has offline presence. And we were talking to them about their advertising strategy. So if you think about how many of you have been to Goa? I think probably everybody in the room, right? When did you book your tickets to Goa? So Goa sees its peak in November, December, Jan. Most of the time when you book a ticket to Goa, you don't plan in October, you plan in July, August, September, right? So if you came up with the right advertising strategy and the deal at that point of time, and you can get that data through your billing systems. If you just look at where did you have your maximum billing to the month of Goa, I can guarantee you, because I live in Goa, that's where I'm from, it is always in those 3 months of the year. The whole economy for Goa runs in those 3 months, right? And bookings happen far earlier. So if you advertised with a campaign around the July, August, September timeframe, your click-throughs on that campaign would be far higher than placing an ad around Diwali. Whereas flying between Bombay and Delhi, you'd be stupid to do it 4 months earlier or 3 months earlier, right? You probably would do it 2 or 3 days earlier because it's quick travel, it's unplanned travel. And likewise, link hotels, destinations. You can get a lot of data from your hotel partners, again, offline data, but marrying it in the real world. So that's where we see this working again. And there's some examples here which is English, so I won't talk through it, but those are some real examples that I talked about. There's some examples of, so what does it really look like? And what we did, I removed the customer names from here, but I'm just showing you some dashboards that my customers have shared with me in terms of what's working for them. So there's this particular customer that's doing marketing analysis across channel. For which creative is working, on what placement on the website, should I just be buying the masthead all the time on a Money Control or a Times of India, or should I be looking at different placement channels on display, various other channels for various campaigns and pages. And they are actually measuring the result of everything that they have. There's another customer here that's looking at demographic patterns of buying behaviors across categories. So people between 25 and 30, male, female, different demographics, tier 1, tier 2 cities, what's their consumption pattern like? And that's helping them target the right amount of campaign. The one that I love is this heat map. So there's a client who's got a heat map of where are his maximum sales coming from and on what product categories, which are driving purchase behaviors. A company that I work for, I ran this experiment while I was with the company. I was previously the managing director for a company called Intuit, which is a large player in the US in terms of software. And what we did here was ABC testing, multivariant testing on the fly. What this means is, if I have a landing page for my product, I could be selling anything. In this case, we were selling a Tally kind of small business accounting software because it's cheaper for small businesses to use this software than hire an accountant in the US. May not work in India. But we looked at this experiment wherein for different people who were coming onto the site, we played with the variables. We played with the variables on the font size, the messaging. You'll see try it for free coming up right in the big. It became smaller somewhere else. And we saw what really worked. And there was one particular UI where we saw almost 100% increase, or greater than that, sorry, in terms of the adoption.